Hello and welcome to Have You Got Your Shit Together with me, Caitlin Orion, the podcast that celebrates not having your shit together because who the fuck does? On today's episode, we have my really good friend, Sam Glen. Sam is an actor and a singer and generally exceptionally talented human from the north of England. Some of his work includes Shameless, Jim and McGovern's The Street, Coronation Street, and more recently, he's just been in the film 3 Day Millionaire, which if you haven't seen, you should definitely check out. Sam has always been someone that I've looked up to and admired, not only because he's insanely talented, but I don't know anyone with a work ethic like him. He's such a grafter with a wicked sense of humour and always seems able to find the light and positivity in whatever life throws at him. I can't wait for you to meet him and I really hope you enjoy the episode. Sam Glen with one N. On a scale of shit to together, how are you feeling today?
Today, I would say together.
Together?
Which is big for me.
Okay.
That's big, that's huge for me.
Yeah.
I feel like the last couple of weeks I've started to get my mojo back, whatever that is. Started at F45.
F45.
The gym, horrific.
The gym, the cult gym that everyone's talking about in London at the moment.
We did a David Beckham class yesterday.
What is that?
I don't know. They've just started classes that David Beckham's made up from his training, and they was all like, guys, if you just turn around and watch the TVs for a second. And then David was like, hey guys, welcome to today's F45.
He's on the screen.
It was like, I was literally like, that was the moment I realised I was probably in some sort of cult. I was like, yep, I'm here.
Everyone's there with their shoes on.
Yeah, literally.
Legs crossed.
Just drink
David
this.
Beckham on the floor.
But no, I'm loving it. I've been there a few weeks and I feel amazing at the moment.
Yeah.
Feel like I abandoned my fitness for a while because I've got a history of issues with weight and food and things like that. And I feel like I'm back with a bang and like, God, it feels so good.
Yeah.
So right now, currently, I'm feeling very together.
Yeah, I definitely get that when I'm kind of off the horse with exercise or something like that. It just affects your mental health so much.
It just annoys me like that you ever stop. Because I'm like my undiagnosed ADHD. I mean, it's not funny. I definitely do need to go and get assessed. But yeah, I feel like I do big bursts of addictive things. Yeah, starting again is just so hard.
So hard when you fall off it. And they literally say that it takes 3 weeks to form a habit. I think you said that to me on the train up.
I did.
3 weeks to form a habit.
Yeah.
Have you done it?
I am.
I'm, and you're still not sure?
Well, I'm at the end of my 3rd week.
Oh my God.
And it's now definitely like...
a habit.
I'm not going because now I start
good.
to feel guilty when I don't go, so...
Yeah.
Healthy relationships.
Yeah. So, for you, what does having your shit together mean?
Well, we've spoke about this a lot because you've had the idea and, like, I think there's, like, big things that it means and then there's, like, small, everyday things. It's hard because I just feel like it all comes with, like, society's pressures, doesn't it? Like, I look outwards to, like, my school friends and I'm like, but they've just got a mortgage and they're now pregnant and they're in long-term amazing relationships. So, like it's the obvious way to think that you got your shit together. But actually, there's smaller day-to-day things that... Yeah. Am I rambling?
No, not at all. This is great. I think this is what everyone can relate to, really.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure, isn't there, of having your shit together, and it's such a big, wide term.
But it's mad, isn't it? Because you say that, and then actually you'd speak to someone who has the house and the kids, etc., and would be feeling very much like they don't have their shit together.
Yeah, 100%. What you think of not having your shit together, like you just said then at the choir the first time you met me, like, you might think I've got my shit together,
Yeah.
so seemingly...
I thought you were like the choir boy of like...
Oldham's finest shit together boy.
The voice of an angel.
Yeah. Absolutely not my darkest days, though.
You're
do you know what I mean?
quivering inside.
Yeah. Honestly, terrified.
It's so insane, isn't it?
Yeah, it is insane.
Yeah, it is.
So I didn't really answer the question, but...
No, I think you did. I think you've answered it how a lot of people would answer it. It's societal, it's that comparing yourself to other people. It's definitely what I do. And that's what made me want to do this and to make this, was because having conversations with people like yourself or even my friends who are getting mortgages and stuff like that, like, it's not necessarily making them any happier.
No.
I just think it's important that people are more open about that. Really.
Yeah, 100%.
So I asked you last night in classic scatty Caitlin mode. I think I messaged you Or was it this morning?
It was this morning.
Oh, okay,
Let's heighten the stakes.
So I texted you this morning in a flurry, asking you to bring in an object that makes you feel like you've got your shit together.
Oh wait, I had to bring an object.
Well,
I thought it was a feeling.
Oh, okay. We've gone abstract.
I brought a feeling.
Okay.
Shit, I haven't got my shit together. There you go. I didn't read the message properly.
Yeah.
No, I thought about this a lot, and it's a little bit weighty and heavy,
Okay.
but I think having the ability to be alone and happy in my own space and company
Wow.
is like something that I'm like thrilled about having my shit together, because I've thought about this a lot and I've
Yeah.
been single for so long and unhappy and thinking I need to be in a relationship and all of those things, and actually the positives of that is like I'm so secure in being alone.
Yeah.
Genuinely, like, and I have so many friends that are like in long-term relationships, and actually my defense and things like that, like my history of that and past relationships have maybe built up an armor. But I do think not many people can say that they're absolutely like content in their own company. And I
love
genuinely am. Genuinely feel
Yeah.
really content being.
Is that difference between, what is it they say, the difference between solitude and loneliness? Or like the difference between being alone and being lonely?
Yeah.
Is, alone is like the strength in that, and solitude is empowering, whereas loneliness is like a pang that you're trying to fill.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it fleets between those two things. It's never
course,
just like set in one area. Like I do get really lonely sometimes, but generally, I think I've built up a way of coping with that and turning it into actually empowering. Like I love it.
Yeah.
Theatre, cinema.
Yeah.
I go for dinner on my own. Like I love it.
Yeah.
Genuinely love it.
Yeah. I love going to the theatre on my own.
Yeah.
Like I'm in a French film.
Main character energy.
Absolutely. Take myself for a nice dinner. I love it. You're at a point now where you're inviting someone to go on a journey of growth with you that you already have done,
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more.
Well, that's not an object, but it's pretty beautiful. We'll accept it. Can you speak about then a time in your life where you felt like you really had your shit together? And that could be now.
Really had my shit together. It's really hard. Whenever I had my shit together, it's really hard because career-wise, you feel like when you get jobs that you've worked hard for, like you're like, oh my god, this is great, I've got it. But then doesn't necessarily make, as we've said with like the mortgages and things, like you get a job and then, I did an amazing play, which at the Royal Exchange, and like all our lives growing up in the North, like to be in that theatre was like everyone's dream, like, and still is for many Northerners. Like it's an amazing space. And I do remember being like in the dressing room like 2 weeks into the run. I didn't have a huge part, but I was on stage with like incredible theatre actors, and it was my first real big theatre gig. I remember being bored and like, I don't know, like not, and that's okay because those moments pass through you, don't you? You're not going to be thrilled 24/7.
Yeah, and like happiness isn't sustainable. Like
right. It's moments, isn't it? Contentness. Career-wise, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting my shit together more now from a history of chaotic energy. I feel like maybe I'm finding some clarity, which is nice. I'm not sure. It's quite open. I can't think of a specific time. I can think of moments, big like landmark
But it's
moments.
interesting that it's like career-based for you. I think that's the same for a lot of people. And especially being an actor when you're in such a insecure environment, I guess, there's ups and downs constantly. And also it's like met with insane highs, but then insane periods of low. I know. I remember someone saying to me that like being an actor isn't about when you have the job. It's actually about when you're not in the job and how you sustain the lifestyle, because ultimately that's the thing that you need to be okay with, is the insecurity.
Yeah.
And it's funny when you were saying that as well, because it reminded me of a podcast, Honest Actors.
Yes, I do.
And he always talks of that moment where you get the job and you're like elated, and that lasts for half an hour, and then suddenly you're thinking, oh my God, like absolute imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Or, I remember when I got Outlander, like the same thing, because prior to that, I'd just left drama school. I wasn't getting any work, and I always kind of said to myself, I can't identify as an actor because no one has given me the green light yet, and I'll be happy as long as I get one job, no matter what it is. And then it was Outlander, which was like insane, huge, like bigger than I could have imagined. And for a month I was like elated, and then suddenly like the fear,
it kicks
being
in.
terrified of like being out of my depth, imposter syndrome, someone calling me out and firing me on set, like all of those fears come in, and then suddenly you've stepped up a rung and your worries are now comparable to the people who are on the same level as you there.
Yeah.
And
it never ends.
Yeah, it's like the rat race, isn't it? You're constantly chasing, and I think rarely we sit to smell the flowers.
Yeah, I totally agree. And do you know what I've really found? I don't know, like, you know me, like in my history with acting, like my parents don't do anything to do with it. Like, it's very much always been something that I've figured out for myself, like coming from and theatre workshop helped a lot. But in terms of like being where I am financially and career-wise, like it's all from me. Like, super grateful to my dad because, you know, like and my mum would take time off work to run me to auditions when I was a kid. But like from there on, like I've navigated it all. And I think, I'm going around the houses here, but I think with the Globe, I remember for which I'm about to start rehearsals for, when I went into the recall, I remember leaving the house and I remember saying to my housemate Sean, why not me?
Yeah.
And genuinely, like, I've really unlocked that because actually, like, I go to the theatre, I watch TV, I listen to podcasts, I do everything art-wise, and I've always got opinions and criticisms of things and praise as well.
Yeah.
But actually, not everyone working is amazing.
Yeah.
And we know that, and whatever that is, because art is subjective.
There's luck and
and all of those things. But like, why not us? I don't know. I feel like our roots make us feel like kind of
too humble for our own good.
100%.
Yeah, I get that.
And just a quiet confidence. So I went into the room and I wasn't. I don't think I have the ability to be arrogant, but just like
confident.
A quiet confidence of why not me. And actually, it paid off. And maybe there was I don't know. So I feel like that I'm growing into getting my shit together in those elements.
That's
because
good.
Actually it's wasted energy.
Yeah,
that's what I'm learning. Like, I
remember, someone saying to me that worrying is like suffering twice.
Oh God, yeah, that hurts.
Bars.
That hits hard. That
so
hits
it's like,
hard.
Because I have the same thing. I'll be going for a big audition or something, and I'll be pranging out about it, and I'll be like, well, they're never going to go for me. Like, this is, I'll create so much anxiety within myself that when it comes to the audition, I've made it no less painful for myself. And I think it's a protective thing that I do is, downplaying it. Well, I'm not going to get it anyway, and so that when I don't get it, it doesn't hurt as much. But actually, I've not given myself the opportunity because I've gone in there thinking that I shouldn't be there, and then it still hurts. It doesn't make it any less painful. It still hurts when I get rejected. So, I tried a few recently that went quite well, and I was just like, yeah, fuck it, I'm good. Like,
100%. I always say this when people
still
say...
Still hurts when you don't get it.
Yeah, it hurts so bad. I don't think that'll ever change, but... Yeah, people always say, do you think you're good? And I'm like... Oh, it's a difficult one, but yeah, I do think I'm good because do you honestly think I'd put myself through these years of torture if I didn't believe in myself? Like,
of course.
You have to.
You have to have that.
What's the point
you.
otherwise?
Absolutely.
Yeah, humble only takes so far.
Yeah.
Remember my dad told me a really good analogy because my dad knows nothing about the arts. And he was like, right, if two builders came in to fit a kitchen, right? Have I told you this story?
No, but I can.
It was like two builders came in to fit the kitchen, right? One of them came in and was like, I think I'll put the taps there, and I think I'll do the tiles there, and then maybe we'll put some like brown counters there. Or a second one comes in and goes, I'd go there, this is my work, do you want to hire me?
Yeah.
Which one would you choose? And I was like, obviously I'd choose the second person. He's like, so why are you going into an audition room? Like, maybe I'm sorry. It was like, just go in, do what you do, and if they want it, they'll take it.
Sick.
I'm like, Darren Glen coming through with the TED Talk. But I was like, it's true. When you put it into a different industry or a different context, it seems so obvious.
Completely. So leading on, a time in your life where you feel like you really didn't have your shit together. Maybe that's easier to...
Where do we begin? Man, there's so many. I mean, you know me, like we can be vulnerable, right?
Yeah. But also, like, we can go where you want it to go.
Yeah. No, there's been loads of times I've not had my shit together. Like, I think shame's like a huge part of not feeling like you have your shit together. And I think me figuring out my sexuality, and actually I think from a young age I've seemingly been really confident with that. And I think people are always like, oh, you were really good, weren't you? And I was like, don't know, it's kind of like the classic clown syndrome.
Yeah.
And I definitely got myself into situations where, I've not been very proud of where I remember I had taken quite a lot of drugs and had been up all night, and it was like maybe 12:30 the next afternoon, and then a guy left my house. And I remember just lying there, looking out, not been to bed for like 24 hours, like drug-fueled, horrible sex binge thing, and just thinking, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you definitely don't have your shit together. You know, like, I've struggled a lot with substances and just my relationship with sex and those things. Like, I think most people probably have issues with sex because we're taught from a very young age, like, unrealistic views of what they are. Like, and actually, like, you know, all the thing with Heartstopper that's on at Netflix at the minute, it's, like, so true. Like, I had nothing like that growing up. Like,
Heartstopper?
You know, the new Netflix drama thing about the queer love story. And I was like,
oh my God,
maybe if I had that at 14, maybe things might have been different about, like, romantic versions of, like, queer love, because actually, like, mine was just, like, horrible, like, grinder meets, like, in the dead of night in my little Citroen Saxo in Oldham, meeting, like, married men and stuff. Like, it was wild, like, and it was all a secret. I think that repression. So then, actually, when it translates into healthy things, like, I think everyone, like, probably tries drugs and substances and things like that. And actually, when those two things fall hand in hand, it's kind of a recipe for disaster. And, like, chemsex and, like, substance misuse in, like, the gay community is, like, wild. And, like, I've done so much therapy and reading about those things and trying to gain control, but also empowering that it's all right because so many people do that.
So many people. There's so much shame. Like, people can't talk about it. I was listening to, like, Jamila Jamil. She did a podcast recently, and she said that learning sex from porn is like learning how to drive from Fast and Furious.
Oh my God.
Because
literally,
it's not real. It's not real, and it's not about, like, emotional connection, and it is shameful, you know. And yeah, I've definitely struggled with that. I've had to overcome my own shame to be able to have conversations with people, to have healthy relationships with people. It's hard, man. It's not something, there's no template for it really in our society, I don't think.
No, nothing. And obviously you never talk to about your parents.
And also when you come from, like, somewhere like we do, where, you know, we were so lucky to go to Oldham Theatre Workshop, where I think the majority of boys there are probably working.
Absolutely, yeah, without that.
You know, but even then, like, people weren't open about it whilst there in the same way. There was still that shame from, like, a working class town, you know. It's not like London. It's not kind of...
Yeah.
I don't know. It's...
No, I remember my dad saying, sorry, Dad, if you ever listen to this, but my dad was like, when I would sort of had the conversation, he was like, it's probably all that drama that you're doing. Are you sure? Yeah. I was just like, and that's really weird, like navigating, trying to be an actor. Because people automatically assume that those two things fall hand in hand, which is ludicrous.
Yeah.
But yeah. I think there's probably a lot of like people suppressing those things because it's just such a tender age when, like, what?
Oh my God, completely.
13, 14, 15, 16. A really safe space. Like, that was the best, but I don't know where I'd be without that space, like, genuinely. And actually, just, like, on a human level, like, they sort of made us good humans.
Oh, completely.
Above anything else.
Yeah, instilled such, like, good values and politics into us.
Literally, yeah, exactly.
And that was your first cult? Prior to F45.
Now I'm box squatting for my life.
3 things that make you feel like shit.
Ooh. Like anything?
Anything.
Interesting. Ooh. I need to think about it.
Yeah. And it can be small things, it can be big things.
Yeah. Arrogance makes me feel like shit. I hate arrogance.
From other people?
Yeah, just general arrogance. Like, I hate entitled, like, arrogance I hate. Yeah. That really makes me feel like shit in so many ways. Like, makes you feel inferior, it makes you feel angry, it makes you feel sad. Just, again, coming from our, like, sort of background, like, maybe I'm a bit envious that people can hold themselves so well and, like, so eloquently. I'm like, fuckers, like, makes me so angry that, like, you have the ability to, like, walk into a room and feel like everything and everyone, like, owes you. To
be the entitled builder, walking into the kitchen and...
Yeah, literally. Yeah, with the gold taps,
Oh my God, when you've been told your entire life that you can do something.
Which is amazing and so free and like...
Everyone should have that.
Absolutely.
It's not that they shouldn't have that.
They should, exactly.
Should have that.
Yeah, so it makes me angry and sad in equal measures. Like, it's not... Yeah, no shame to those people because, like, great. But, like, equal... Everyone should have had the opportunity to feel that way. My body makes me feel shit.
Okay.
A lot. Which I'm definitely been on a battle with for ages. Like, I used to be super big, didn't I? Then I went super skinny, and now I went big again. So now I'm on my way to be. But whatever that means. But like this time round, I'm in a different mind zone. But again, I need to like, again, with sex and porn and all of those horrible things, like we just have such unrealistic body types, like ridiculous.
It's insane.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah.
I remember when I first looked at the guy and he was like, oh God, have you cut yourself on my shoulder? And I was like, no, the stretch marks. And he was like, oh, yeah. Like, we don't even know what those things are because everyone's so like
no one talks about it.
airbrushed and perfect. And like, if you've not seen one before, why would you know what one is? Like, people think women only get stretch marks when they're pregnant.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
completely.
I've got broad shoulders actually. Even when I was skinny, I got stretch marks just because I'm a stocky guy. So yeah, definitely my body makes me feel shit at times, but I'm working on that. And that's me working towards feeling like I'm getting my shit together. Because what is a normal body type? Like, it's so frustrating because actually I'm so good at giving advice, like everyone.
Yeah.
But like when I look inwards, I'm like, I can't take any of it on board.
Insane. Yeah, I'm the same.
Nothing.
Yeah. I've only recently started, like when you were talking about shame before, I've only recently started being able to compartmentalize that for myself and to recognize the difference between like when I feel guilty about something and when I feel shame. And that, I think that's like a Brené Brown thing. But that was compartmentalizing, that was so useful for me because it was like guilt is productive. Guilt is like, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have decided to leave the toaster on for too long and like burn the house down. I feel bad about that. That's awful analogy. Or like I failed an exam, I should have studied for it, you know. I feel guilty about the fact that I didn't. Whereas like shame is just like I'm a terrible person feelings. You're not a terrible person. Like it's just not productive. You just end up like berating yourself so much but it's so easy to fall into. I think especially when you are a humble person or you can just or an empathetic person, you just end up taking on such a load
so much
constantly. But another thing as well is that there's a difference between body positivity and body neutrality.
Yeah.
And I think the media and, you know, social media especially is like, we should all be body positive and like love ourselves. And like, that is not an achievable goal for so many people.
No.
But body neutrality, like accepting yourself is. And
100%.
That's something more tangible to work towards.
And it's like, God, I know people that have got from all different shapes and sizes and like, they genuinely do love their body.
Yeah.
But like, I don't. So like, we can talk about like, how amazing like being bigger is and like curves and all those things, but I'm like I can keep manifesting that to the cows can come, but like through years of societal conditioning I feel shit. So like there's no amount, so I'm trying to take some control of what that is. I'm never going to have an 8-pack or a 6-pack, but like also I've learned the mental effects of like the positivity of working out.
Which is the reason why you want to do it.
Like, it's kind of terrifying this time around though, because I remember my friend Jen, best friend Jen from home, I was like, I'm on it again. I'm on the health wagon again. I feel like I've really like I've flicked a switch now. And then she got a throwback from when we went travelling to Bali, and there's a picture of me like under a waterfall, and I was like, oh my God! I was like, I'm on it. I'm going to look like that again soon. And Jenny was like, just to let you know, that day, I remember so clearly, you wouldn't take your vest off because you felt insecure. And I was like,
insane, isn't it?
There's no hope.
But this is what's insane now, is that we're no longer comparing ourselves to other people.
Yeah.
I am now comparing myself to myself.
Right.
Because, you know, iPhones are giving you the throwbacks from like 5 years ago.
Right.
And I see a picture come on where I remember that I felt like, I've never thought of myself highly necessarily. But I look at a picture of myself from 5 years ago and I'm like, fucking hell, like I looked so much better then.
Yeah.
Didn't know it at the time. But now I'm comparing myself to myself and being like, God, why do I look older? Why do you
It's
know?
horrific. And actually that picture was like 7 takes with a high angle, with a filter. And like actually like you live in a warped version of the old you too, like.
But we're not consenting to these things being on our phone. Like, you know, you download, you install something like that, like throwbacks, because you think it'd be quite nice to see a picture of like you with your friends 5 years ago. But when it's just like a selfie or something from yourself, like, oh my God, I didn't actually choose to see that, and it's made me feel like shit, and now I've got to go about the day. You know, just stuff like that. It's nuts.
It is
Black Mirror vibes.
Absolutely.
Okay, you've got one more thing.
Lies, yeah.
Lies
make me
from
feel like
tiny eyes.
shit.
Yeah.
I just think, I'm such an open person, which we've spoke about loads, like in our private lives.
You live
like,
so honestly.
I do, and actually, it's to my detriment because, like, you can't judge others on the way that you carry yourself, or like, actually, you don't need to confront this stranger in this moment to let them know exactly how you feel. Like, people work in very different ways.
You can't hold everyone to the same regard that, like...
Yeah.
Or to the same standard that you hold
that
yourself.
You do. Yeah.
And I always fall short of that as well. I'm always disappointed by...
Yeah.
If someone doesn't treat me the way that I think that I would treat them, you know?
Exactly, yeah. So the lies, I think I've got like probably quite a few trust issues, as probably most people have. But yeah, dishonesty is like, makes me feel so shit.
Okay, let's put a positive spin on this podcast.
Yes.
3 things that make you feel like the shit.
The shit. Good skin care routine. Like, I feel like I'm glowing. Just hydrochloric acid, Vitsy, bit of retinol in the evening. Like, I've really got into my skincare at the minute.
Nice. I mean, it's...
minus this big spot on my forehead because that's from sweat.
You are glowing.
I do feel like I've got a glow.
Brown.
I never used to feel that way.
Nice. That's what they say. They say to start now.
Oh no.
With all like the anti-age and stuff.
Death in slow motion.
Aged. Death in slow motion.
No.
Oh my god, stop.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely feel like shit when my skincare feels good. God, that's such an adult thing to say, isn't it?
Love that.
Have we grown up now?
Yeah, I think so.
Hair, a good haircut. That makes me feel the shit. I just, you know me, I love the old curls and a bit of a fresh fade. That makes me feel good.
Yeah.
God, these are all aesthetic things, aren't they? Horrible, horrible world we live in. What else makes me feel the shit? Some sort of creative outlet, whether that's like singing with like a sponsor. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're like pissed up around like a fire and someone whips the guitar out and like no, do you know what? I'm going to specific. A harmony makes me feel the shit. There you go. I pinpointed it down. Oh my god! I just worked out what it is. Then a harmony does things inside to me.
Oh my god, it does, doesn't it?
A tight little harmony.
Tight. How tight we're talking?
Very tight. Yeah. Just like 2 or 3 part. Like whoa. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something it does to you, and I always say this with acting. Like,
you love a blend. You're so good at blending your voice.
Yeah, that does make me feel the shit. When I'm part of it as well. Yeah. I've got to be a part of it. Yeah. If I'm watching it, I'm like, you make me feel shit. If I'm part of the harmony, I am the shit.
That's the comparison coming in. I want to be on the inside.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, a good harmony.
Yeah.
Makes me feel the shit.
Okay, so on that, something that makes you lose your shit. And that can be positive or negative.
Lose my shit?
Yeah, like either like, you make me lose my shit, or like, I'm losing my shit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I only think I'm quite an angry person, so I automatically go to the negatives. I'm so impatient.
Okay.
Like, I'm so impatient and probably a little bit like of a control freak within myself, not to others, I'd like to think, but like if something isn't done or I'm late or something doesn't run to plan, I lose my shit so bad.
Really?
Like really bad.
Why? Just because you feel like it knocks on for the rest of the day?
Just like panic attack vibes, like tight chest, like it's wild.
Really?
Like even when someone said, like I did a job the other day and I was like, I got on the wrong tube and I went the opposite way and it sent me to the wrong address and I was like an hour late and they was basically like, oh, it's fine, we don't start till 10. And like I just lost. I couldn't do the work for the whole day.
Really?
It's like, what the hell? Like, it's like everything's fine.
Yeah.
But just in a personal, whatever way. And I think that's maybe the idea of like being right or getting things perfect or
trying
like
to please people.
Yeah, people pleaser. Just like lose my shit so bad. And the same if someone else like is late for me. It makes me take note. I'm joking. You never
late
lose my shit.
Orion.
No, late. No, yeah, I do feel like I lose my shit. I'm very impatient.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's the speed of my brain.
Yeah. But also, it's, you hold yourself to a high standard and it makes you a reliable friend as well. Yeah. And you're a very reliable person, so it has its strengths as well.
Olivia Dean also makes me lose my shit.
Yeah,
there you go.
Talk to me about Olivia Dean.
I love Olivia Dean so much.
I heard of her through you. I actually played her in the cafe and Anne enjoyed her music.
Really?
Yeah, he hadn't heard of her before. She's amazing.
I never had Spotify before, so I was always Apple Music.
Yeah.
And then in lockdown, I was like, you got like a free, like an Alexa. What's it called? Google Home.
Oh, yeah.
Spotify did this thing.
Wasn't it?
If you sign up to Spotify, you get a free thing. And I was I want one of them. Like, love a freebie. So I signed up to Spotify. Anyway, I just love how you discover new artists, like, that Apple doesn't. And I'd never had it before. So I'd played a song and it was like, you might like, and then this song popped up and I was like, who is this?
Which song was it? Do you remember?
oh my God, was it being... Oh, let me look at my things. I don't know what I'm so obsessed. I know the lyrics to all of her songs.
Yeah.
I don't actually probably know what the first one was that I heard from her.
I imagine it would have been one of her top ones if it was on like a recommended.
It must have, yeah. It must have.
She is amazing.
Was it Be My Own Boyfriend? I don't know. It was something anyway. And I was like, who's this? And I just got into an absolute hole, like in classic Sam Glen style of listen to her every day, on repeat, every song, learn all the lyrics within about 24 hours.
Oh my God.
And then I was obsessed with her. And then for my birthday last year, Stott, who's one of my best friends, was like, we've got your tickets to see you. She's playing Nice. And I was like, what? Yeah. Like, I didn't even know she was like, I didn't really know what level of where she was at music-wise. I wasn't sure if it was a new artist or whatever. She had a few songs on there. And I guess She's not got an album yet, I don't think. No, is it still quite... Yeah, it's just bitty. Yeah. And then it got cancelled. Why did it get cancelled? COVID. Someone cancelled the gig. Anyway, I went to the Blues Kitchen last year in Manchester to see her. And I definitely lost my shit. I lost my shit to the point where, and this is so un-Sam Glen, I lost my shit that much that I didn't drink alcohol. Oh my God. And I was like, why not drink alcohol? And I was like, I need to experience this in all of its like beauty and glory, and I need to be sober to like
drunk on Olivier.
Yeah, literally drunk on a musical love, and that is not me at all. Everyone was pissed around me, and I was just I just need to experience this sober. Yeah.
That's amazing.
She was unreal. Yeah, she absolutely makes me lose my shit.
Oh my God, I love that.
Love you, Olivia.
A moment that you found some shit out about yourself.
Ooh. My friend, our friend Jenna wrote an amazing play that she's taken up to Edinburgh this year to the Fringe, and it's called Ruckus, and it's about coercive control. Okay. And we went to the play reading last week, and I didn't know anything about it. I knew what it was about, sort of knew what the term meant, and then we did the play reading, and then the play finished, and it was absolutely amazing. She is amazing, and yeah, everyone should go watch it. And then at the end of it, she was like, "You okay?" And I was like, "I just need a minute." And I think I probably learned last week, which I didn't realise. I knew I was probably in a very unhealthy relationship for many reasons. My first love, and also that is now, no matter how I work on it or reframe it, that is my first experience of love. But yeah, I think last week I discovered that I probably was in a bit of a controlling relationship, and actually that was 10 years ago, 9, like so long ago. And I have so many stories that I laugh about to friends now when they're like, "Oh my God, tell the story about when he threw himself out of a car when you said you didn't want to be with him." And I was like, "Oh my God, it's so funny, right?" So we're drunk, and I tell them in a playful way, and I just sat there for an hour and heard another version of, just heard this story play out, and like it resonated so much. I mean, it didn't make me feel any particular way. It made me feel a bit weird, but I wasn't like in tears, or I wasn't like. But I think last week I realised that actually like that has informed where I am now, and like it made me realise why I've got so many barriers up and things. And I said to Jenna, I was like, I think, because it's obviously about education around what coercive control is, and I don't know if that's on a spectrum and a scale, and I don't know too much, so I don't want to speak. But I said to Jenna, I think people in the audience, I think you need to maybe account for the people that
don't realise.
And they also might currently be in it. There might be people in the audience sat next to a partner that are like, "Oh God, maybe that's me right now." I think,
that just speaks to how important theatre can be.
Oh my God, so important. And she actually said, like, I hadn't really thought about people thinking about hindsight. It's unreal, and I think it's so nuanced and messy and complicated, and there's no real apparent villain in it, and it's just all so messy and beautiful.
I imagine why you probably haven't put 2 and 2 together in that sense is because you're in love with someone, you want to see the best in them. And actually, I think a lot of the time, manipulative people don't realise themselves that what they're doing is harmful, or it's just, that is their knowledge of how to love, and that's them expressing what they've seen perhaps, or reiterating it to someone else.
I think one thing I've learned as well is that I would like to think that I'm like quite a balanced person, and like I don't begrudge it at all. Like I was a dick, I was a nightmare too, but he still reaches out now, and we still speak, and actually like I don't know, we were kids, and like there's no excuse for that. Maybe that's me justifying it, but I don't think I was innocent either.
As a species, we are obsessed with love. Like, love is a thing that we're all constantly aiming for. It's the activity that I think it's Eric Fromm who said this, but it's like the activity that we're all constantly engaging in. If you kept playing a tennis game and you were shit at it, you'd get lessons. Like, with love, we're all blindly entering into these situations, just hoping that the next time it'll be different. And if you don't go away and you reflect and you work on it so that you can bring yourself back having learn a lesson, how can you expect to get any better at it? I'm sure we've all been terrors at some point and not known how to express the love that we feel, but I guess what is growing up and what is being an adult is reflecting on the times that you've gone wrong, learning from it, taking stock, taking accountability for it and moving forwards.
100%. Accountability is so important.
Some people don't do that, and that's why they'll continue to fuck up.
Yeah, I definitely, when I went into my next relationship post that, I literally took all of the issues I had there and plonked them into a new one. And actually, that I absolutely became the villain. I couldn't understand why someone was so caring, romantic and kind, supportive and gave me space. And I was like,
but also, I don't know
this is weird.
Yeah, I don't know how useful it is to view yourself as a villain. People have different attachment styles. If you've come from something where someone's been avoidant or manipulative or something like that, that could make you more tentative going into the next one. So then you become avoidant. And that's where you've learned your love language, so to speak, you know?
Whenever it happens, whether that's in 10 years or tomorrow, I definitely have a toolkit now of how to...
Well, that's amazing.
And I think my security in myself has definitely helped
good.
all of those things.
Yeah.
I discovered some shit last week.
Whoa. Okay, shittest piece of advice you've received.
I hate the term, and I read a tweet about it, and it really resonated with me a few years ago. You know the one I mean? It's like, what's not for you won't pass by you, or something like that. What? I hate it, because I'm like, what does that mean?
What does it mean?
It's not tangible, and actually, okay, so like... all of the opportunities out there in the industry, in life, in love are like, well, I just accept that they're not for me. Maybe we need to start reframing why that working class voices or gay voices or like, do you know what I mean? Like, I hate the simplicity of it, that we all just bow down and accept that. And it's quite metaphorical and things. I know it's not like a concrete thing, but people really live by it. Like, no, it's okay. Like, it wasn't meant to be this time. And I'm like...
what is meant to be?
I guess it's just a way of dealing with it and processing. But I'm like, I fucking hate, like, what a shit piece of advice. Like, okay, there's nothing more you could have done. I get that. But, like, maybe the fucking system's wrong.
Yes, completely.
Rather than us all just laying down and accepting that it wasn't for me. Well, maybe if the fucking actor's dad wasn't the producer, maybe the opportunity might have been for me.
Yeah, completely.
So that
or
really...
if you didn't have to work and you had a week to prepare for something,
exactly,
whilst someone else is slogging away because they do have to work.
Exactly,
like it's not an equal playing field.
Yeah, nothing completely. Ever is it? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that is a horrible shit piece of advice.
Oh, okay. Well, I shall never remind me never to say that to you in the future.
When you're filming Outlander, don't none of that.
Okay, shit you wish you'd known sooner.
Everybody is fucking projecting. God, I wish I knew that when I was like 12. Everybody's behaviour makes sense now as an adult. Like, everyone's behaviour is some sort of internal projection of whatever. I've navigated friendships and things like that for so long where I'm like, why are you behaving this way? And actually only a few years ago, like, I learned what those terms maybe are with therapy, things like that. And I'm just like... it just gives you a forgiveness and an understanding. It also doesn't mean you lay down and take people's shitty behaviour, but just an understanding of everyone's just fucking dealing with shit, aren't they?
Oh my God, completely. And one of the reasons that I wanted to do this podcast was from a conversation that I had with my dad, which was, I said to him, like, at what point am I going to have my shit together? And he was like, I feel like I'm 21 and I'm in an old man's body. And I think that's it, isn't it? Like, we live our lives looking up to people and then suddenly you realise that they are human and that they don't know what they're doing and they're just trying to get through the day same as everyone else. It's wild.
It's fucking wild.
Yeah.
I've got tricky relationships with my parents, good and bad, but like I also find like now trying to be an adult with who was your adult is fucking wild. Like actually, like I don't agree with that and I'm not doing that because of this reason and you no longer can tell me why. And I've had that recently.
Seeing your parents' vulnerabilities as well, it is an adjustment.
My dad got made redundant during COVID and he worked in the same, like, he was like a contracts manager, but he built his way. He was really high by the end, but he started off as like, it's like sheet metal work in a factory. So he started when he was, 18? And then he's now 54. And the owner was retiring and giving the business to his son, and his son was like our age, 28, and wanted like a complete restructure of the business and wanted like cooler, fresher, like whatever those terms mean, people in.
Yeah.
So he replaced my dad with things. I remember my dad ringing me being like, I don't know how I'm going to pay the mortgage. I don't have any GCSEs. I don't know how to make a fucking CV.
Yeah.
And just like, what? Like, just mind blowing, because actually, like, my dad's been fucking shit at times with like emotions and like being vulnerable and speaking.
Yeah.
And actually, like, for the first time ever, I was like, ooh, that's weird and messy and tricky.
Yeah.
Since I moved to London, genuinely, I would say this, like, I speak to my dad more and he calls me all the time, always for advice.
Wow.
The relationship changes. So there's a turning point, isn't there, where they need you, and more than you need. Not more than you need them, actually. Just you're on the journey of your own thing. But always ringing me. I'm like, fuck off. You never used to ring me. No, I'm not. I'm like, we're working on that. But yeah, it is weird actually seeing your parents vulnerable. Very weird.
Yeah. I would like you, if possible, to share with me a shit shot. Now, my definition of a shit shot is a photo either on Instagram or Facebook or something like that, that to the outside eye looks like you had your shit together when you didn't.
The Bali one for me was like a huge one, because I'm like traveling, I'm like in the best shape of my life, I'm like got this beautiful tan, like I was popping off, like, you know, I was like shagging like 5 guys a week. Like, I was honestly like, you couldn't have given me more mojo, only to learn that I was still insecure to take my fucking best off under a waterfall. So like that, do you know?
Don't
like,
go chasing waterfalls.
But do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, shit, I thought I had my shit together. Also looked like I just won I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. That's what the shot feels like. I'll show you that. I'll try and find a different one though as well. Look, I so thought I had my shit together there.
Oh my God. Is that a tattoo on your hand?
Oh, just like a henna tattoo, you know. Just travelling, don't mind me. Me and my nose ring. Instagram's weird, isn't it?
It is.
But yeah, no, I'd probably say that was actually like...
I definitely went through a phase where I was feeling so shit about myself that I was posting so much more.
Oh, I get
weird.
so thirsty. I get thirsty, yeah.
Like, and I think for me, it's like I'm trying to connect with people.
Totally.
During COVID, that was the only time where I was able to use Instagram in a healthy way because everyone was doing fucking nothing. So I was just like, look at this piece of knitting that someone has done. And I wasn't like jealous of it. I was like, oh, go on, girl, knit.
Yeah.
Whereas like, I've kind of gone back to that unhealthy version of it again.
Yeah.
And it's hard because I think maybe we convince ourselves that it's tied up with our industry.
Yeah.
So
I don't think Instagram affects me as much as other people, as in like I definitely take it at face value. I've got friends though that are just like, oh my God, like just obsessed with bodies, and like maybe it's not something I'm conscious of, but like I think if you asked me to delete it right now, I could. Yeah, I genuinely think I could, because like I have a space with it where I'm like, I know what it serves. Like I worry about the younger generation. Maybe that seems like
completely
old granted of me, but like that, just like, and TikTok and things like that. I don't know, like, oh God, it's all well and good for us to laugh about fucking Kim Kardashian, like being like, what a twat for saying you lost 13 pounds in 2 weeks in order to fit into your Met Gala dress. Like, because I can just look at you and think, what a twat, but actually there's a fucking 12, 13, 14-year-old girl out there that's like, that's healthy, and actually, so like, that's the shit we've got to worry about, and what we're doing to protect those kind of people, because that's just, there's such a responsibility that people have that they don't fucking take seriously or understand. Completely. Like, read the room. Like,
even with the best will in the world, you end up falling like prey to it, I think.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
Yeah, I try to exist quite honestly on Instagram, but you do sometimes think, oh fuck, I'm not going to post that picture because I've got a spot on my face or something like that.
Oh, I've got an app, genuinely, I've got an app that gets rid of my spots.
Absolutely, get rid of it.
Get rid of the spot. It's just a bit red and angry right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God.
And I convince myself that that's like not that bad.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like editing the shape of my face or anything, but still,
which I've got friends that have done.
But it's polishing. It's still kind of polishing the version of yourself, and it's just not. I
think what you said about actually compare rather than others, it's now with ourselves. I think that's like really hit home with me because that's like so weird. I constantly go back on my Instagram feed
You're
and
tracking
like
your happiness
that's when I
through
looked.
what you looked like.
I looked better there.
Yeah.
And actually, all you need to do is delve back into that moment and realise you wasn't very fucking.
I
happy.
look back on pictures of me from when I was at drama school. And at the time, like, we had to wear fucking unitards. Such a cliche to drama school, which is literally like a leotard with legs. With 19 other people in the same classroom, constantly comparing your body to other people, I ended up losing so much weight through stress, but also copying eating patterns and stuff like that. I was comparing my body to people. I'm 5 foot, almost 5'9". I was comparing my body to like 5'3", 4 people.
Right.
It's insane. Like, it's just not comparable. We've got different body types. And
I live with people with like the fastest metabolisms in the world. Like, and we speak about this a lot. And like, I've always ate with them and like played catch up with them and like, and actually like, we've just got everyone's body's so unique and like we don't know any of that crap.
But I look back on pictures of me at drama school when I was at my most stressed. I was miserable. Like, I didn't know myself at all. And I'm like, oh God, I look so much better then. And like, what is that? I was miserable. I'm so much happier now. It's so insane that we do that to ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm worried about when we're like 80 and I'm going to be comparing myself to when I was like 50. You know what I mean? Or just like, I feel like we're all going to become obsessed with our own pictures from when we were young. Like, our parents' generation have never really done this.
Yeah.
Like, just scrolling through. Imagine if we still have Instagram when we're 80. That's going to be absolutely
wild.
insane. So, Sam Glen with one N. Have you got your shit together?
Absolutely fucking not. But I'm working on it, and that's all we can do. I don't think anyone ever will, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've got so many more chapters to come.
Oh my God.
Throughout my life where that'll fluctuate and change. Right now, I'm definitely on my way to having it.
Yeah.
But that can all change so quickly, like with whatever life throws at us. Yeah. But I think I've got a nice little toolkit to prepare myself for the shit together storm that might come.
I love that.
You can have that as a little soundbite.
Cool. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, while I've got you, if you like what you're listening to, do us a favour and share us a little love. Follow or subscribe to us wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can leave a review and share far and wide to spread the word. You can also find us on social media. Thanks.